Alright, so, welcome everyone. This one is going to be quickly about how to set up various things in Foundry Virtual Tabletop for Pathfinder 1E. I have disabled all the modules except for the core Pathfinder module, so that even if your GM isn't using a particular one, you can still have a way to do so. We're going to start off with two-weapon fighting, and making that a little bit simpler for yourself. So, your GM should have created a token for you, hopefully. We're just going to go ahead and make one real quick. As ever, we're just going to quickly put a race in there. This one's going to be an ASMR. And because we want a dual weapon fighting, we're going to go with a good old rogue classic. As ever, set up your character as you like. We're going to just quickly go through that. If you are playing, if you're new to Pathfinder 1E in general, you want high dex if you're going to do two-weapon fighting. I think there is a way to do strength two-weapon fighting. I don't particularly recommend it, and don't take my word for that. So, just you know, I mean, do research about what you're going to play, or don't. I mean, that's fine too. So, two-weapon fighting uses your dex. If you're using light weapons, I don't have it. Actually, I think I do. Do weapon. Okay, so yeah, you can see on this, even taking two weapon fighting. If you're using elephant in the room, you don't need to take the two weapon fighting. Don't take my word on that. I think no, it's weapon fest that you don't need to take an elephant in the room. But without two weapon fighting, if you try to attack with your offhand, you suffer a significant penalty. You can see here in the normal section, if you're fighting with a weapon in both hands, you suffer a -6 to your regular attack, and then a -10 on your offhand, which is crazy. You're never going to hit anything with that unless you get lucky with a natural 20. If you're wielding a light weapon, that reduces to -4 and -8. And if you have the two weapon fighting feat, it reduces it to just -2 with a light weapon, -4 without a light weapon, and -4, and then -2 if it's also a light weapon in the offhand. So we're going to assume that this character has taken that. He wants to stab things in the back with his weapons. Now, a good way to do that in Foundry is to just go ahead and, well, you need a second one. Canonically. You could also just do this, but it's up to you how you wish to. I like to have them separate, because in case I enchant them separately. So, creating macros for attack rolls is fairly simple. You just right-click the weapon, or the item that you want. You create attack. You go to the combat tab, you right click that, and you go to details. So you can see that, well, as a dagger, it can be meleeed or it can be thrown. What we're going to do, and this only works for weapons that have the same damage profile. I'll cover how to do different damage profiles a little bit later. You create a duplicate by clicking this icon here. You can rename it to two-weapon fighting or whatever you like, really. You go to actions. Now, again, this is assuming that you have two weapon fighting, and you have two weapons of the same damage type. A dagger, as you can see here, is 1 being the minimum and 4 being the maximum. This is a size roll for the damage category. It's a 1d4 for its damage. So to set this up, we're just going to go ahead and do a -2. Two-weapon fighting. Actually, it might have to be like that. Let's go ahead and do a quick check. It's been a while since I've had to set up this. So we're just going to make sure. Of course, wait. Rogue doesn't have proficiency in dagger. That's not right. All right, we'll fix that in a little bit. That might be an error on my end. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure dagger is considered a simple weapon, is it not? Yeah, it is. It's very weird. We'll just do a quick test here, make sure. Hmm. That is concerning. But that actually brings us to a good point. For this, if you are playing a Dex character and you have weapon finesse and you only intend to use weapons, light or finesse weapons, you'll want to go to the settings tab, go to your melee, and change strength to Dex. Now, if you are not necessarily only a Dex fighter, keep it as strength, and then in your weapons, you can right click the dagger. Sorry, you can right click the dagger, go to melee, and change the attack ability from strength to dexterity. And that will, as we can see, whereas before it had just a flat d20 roll, it now has a flat d20 roll with a +4 because it's to use your dexterity modifier. Now, to weapon fighting and weapon finesse does not give you your dex to your attacks. That's a future feat. But back to the setup of the two weapon fighting. Sorry for the interruption. We are just going to go to this. It did apply the -2 as normal. It did that. We're going to change that to dexterity as well because it needs to be dex for my attack rolls. Then we're going to go ahead with iteratives and custom. We're going to add a singular extra attack. We're going to call it second dagger. And we're going to do a... Actually, no, I don't think so. We'll go ahead and test that. It's still going to have the issue with the -4. We've got to... Okay, good. So this is again assuming that these are both light weapons and you have two weapon fighting. That will give you a -2 to the attacks. And that's perfect. You can see it rolls the damage just as it should. Don't know why it's not counting as proficient though. That is very concerning. It shouldn't be doing that. Ah, there we go. Perfect. It should have set that as proficient from the get-go, because we are proficient in this. Well, that's how you fix that if it's an issue for you. If you're using certain modules, it should set proficiencies normally. But if it's showing that you do not have proficiency and you should, just scroll down in the details, go to proficient, and click it, and then we will have perfect. It's just showing the -2. So there you go. Now, for how you set up weapons with separate damage profiles, we're gonna go ahead with we're proficient in rapiers. So we've got a rapier. We're just gonna go ahead and quickly set up that I am using my dexterity. So as normal, does its dex. And of course we have no strength, but it's a 1d6 versus a 1d4. So we'll just go ahead and create attack. We will go to details. We'll make sure that we are considered proficient. We are. Don't know why it didn't do it for the dagger, but you know, whatever. So as long as it works, it's all that really matters to me. Of course, the rogue has no base attack bonus at level 1. Now, setting up attacks with different different damage dice. I haven't quite found a way to do it because editor of attacks and custom only does extra attacks and not different damage profiles. So, to make it easier for myself, what I tend to do is I will set up the entire attack block as just 2-weapon fighting. So that is set. This is the rapier attack. We, of course, set it to -2 and put in 2-weapon fighting as the reason, just so we have a reference. And then we'll go here, take this, rename it to dagger, put in the -2, make sure it's set to dex, and we should be good to go. Now, unfortunately, that will not do it all at once, but it allows you to just, if you would like, you can, I believe, yes, you can just drag it to your bar, and it's nice and simple and convenient. Now, that concludes the 2-weapon fighting portion. We're going to go into modifiers for things like weapon enchantments and sneak attacks. Sneak attacking is very easy to add in, thankfully. We'll just go into our combat tab, just like we did. We'll add a conditional, and we'll do a sneak attack. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not exactly what I wanted to do. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the rapier. Rapier, 2-weapon fighting. Sorry. No. Sneak attack with rapier. We will go to conditional modifier. We'll enable it. Sneak attack damage. Ow. No, don't double that up. We will go down to this bar, click damage. It is only on, well, if you're doing sneak attack, it should be on all. It will be precision damage, because that's what sneak attack damage is. I don't believe sneak attack's crit, and I believe at level 1 it's 1d6. So we go ahead and test that out. And there you go. Now, if you were attacking with that, the rapier would do its base piercing damage and its bonus precision damage. And then we'll just go ahead and quickly set up the dagger for that as well. Conditional. Sneak attack. 1d6 damage on all. Precision damage. And okay, there you go. And bada bing, bada boom. Now, your rogue is actually doing some decent damage, even without that strength modifier on his attack. It's perfect. It just works. It just works. That covers sneak attacks fairly easily. You can pretty much do any modifiers you need like that. It's not all that difficult. You can also go down to this, and this should not multiply on a crit. This is assuming if you have like fiery or corrosive on the weapon. And just to make sure that I didn't muck it up, we're going to set it to an instant 20. And there we go. Fiery and corrosive do not multiply on a successful crit. So it only did the 1d6 extra fire. And we're just going to go ahead and make sure that the way I told you to do this earlier also does not. We set that up for non-duplication, didn't we? Nah, right, it has to be non-multiplying, of course. And we'll just double check that, make sure it is correct. Perfect. Just make sure you set that to non-multiplying when you set it up, because precision damage from sneak attacks do not do not get multiplication from criticals. I believe there is a mythic feat for that, but not a lot of campaigns run that. It's very powerful. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and just do a quick fiery dagger. Technically, it has no enchantment bonus. It's using the +1 enchantment to. It does kind of masterwork because it is magical. We'll make sure to set it to. You don't necessarily need to set any of this. I do when I make my items for my players because it's good to have. And we'll just go to melee. We'll go to conditional modifiers in case they somehow get their weapon enchantment disabled, like if they're in like an anti-magic field or something. It does fire. And it's multiplying. Good. And just to make sure it works. Oh, wait. This one hasn't set to dexterity. There we go. And we'll just make sure it works with everything. It has haste. Sure. Bada bing, bada boom. It's all good. Nice fiery dagger. You can do that with corrosive. You can do that with frost. We're going to go ahead and look into vicious, which is the only other one I can really think of right now. What's a good sickle? A vicious sickle. It's enchanted. It's masterwork. It is magical. So vicious, if you weren't aware, increases the damage of the weapon by, I believe it is 2d6. Yes, extra 2d6. I don't remember if it counts as 2d6 of I don't quite remember if it adds the damage of the same type or if it's untyped. It is untyped energy damage. Interesting. So, now, the problem with Vicious is that there's no easy way to automate the damage rolls when you go to attack. Because if you were to, do, say, damage to self, So you can see that it rolls it all at once. It does not separate it. The 5 damage there at last is the damage that you're taking. That's a very poor roll on the 2d6. Frankly, not worth it on that. But the enemy would take 10 damage where they should only be taking 5. So what we're going to do for that is go back to details. I'm also going to make sure that this one is set up correctly, just to make sure that we reinforce that. We're going to remove that. And then we're going to put in the notes, vicious damage to self. And then we're going to do bracket, 1d slash roll, 1d6. Bracket. Or, if you don't want to have that extra click, what you will do is go to this, and just instead of typing slash roll, you can do it bracket, 1d6, bracket, and it will, there you go, and then roll that every time. You'll have to apply it to yourself. Unfortunately, there's no good way. In Pathfinder 2e, a roll like that would prompt for an application, but unfortunately, it is what it is. So you'll just have to go to your character and take off 6 health. Also, obnoxiously high rolls for the automated rolls for the vicious damage to yourself. Anything else we need to cover in weapon enchantments? Burst stuff. I guess we could cover burst. Setting up burst is a little bit annoying, but so burst weapons are weapons like fiery, corrosive, or frost that when they crit, and only when they crit, they explode outwards, dealing an extra, I believe, an extra 1d10 points of the particular damage, acid, fire, or frost, which multiplies. It kind of works like there's a trait in Pathfinder 2e that when you crit, it does more damage. But we're gonna quickly see if we can't set that up for you guys. We're gonna just go ahead and pick another weapon, just so we have all different types. Another finesse weapon is a short sword. A short sword's always nice to have. Obviously, this isn't a real character at this point, but hey, we're gonna make a corrosive burst short sword. That's a fairly powerful enchantment as far as things go for a level 1 character. If I saw a level 1 character with a corrosive burst short sword, I'd run the other way, because I could very easily die. Maybe you're a little bit braver than I. Maybe he doesn't crit. So, a corrosive burst weapon, a fiery burst or a frost burst, it works just the same. It does a nice 1d6. Sorry, it does a nice 1d6 that does not multiply, and it's acid. Now, I believe it is that should be correct. Let's check and see. And we're gonna do a base one. Okay, that works as intended. It does the piercing damage and the acid damage. Perfect. Then we're gonna force a crit. Perfect. Now, a short sword. A short sword is, I believe, only times 2. I'll be honest with you, I've completely forgotten to see where a short sword. Yeah, crit modifiers 2. So we'll just double check, because it should increase to 2d10 or 3d10 if it were to proper crit. Let's find out. Yes, it did. That is disgusting. If you can get a keen weapon, so we'll duplicate this, and we'll say that our character has gone out of his way to get a second corrosive burst short sword, and he has gotten this one with keen on it. And just as I just showed you, you want to go to click on the attack, you want to go to action, and keen does not change the critical multiplier, unfortunately. It changes the threat range by, I believe, 1? No, it doubles it. So this should go from 19 to 20 to 17. So you just click on you just go to 17. Actually, you know, I don't want to give you any false information. Yes, it is 17 this way. Good. It doubles it, so it's already the two top, so it now goes to the 4 top. Disgusting on any weapon. Now we can see that. We'll just say that this rolls a 17. And there you go. Perfection. I believe that covers all the basic things for us. That'll just be how you cover weapon enchantments, 2-weapon fighting, and threat multiplication. If anyone has any requests for any future videos for how to set anything up, or if you have any concerns or need any help, feel free to contact me in the comments. I'm always there to try and help. I'm just trying to get people into Pathfinder 1E. Trying to do my part. And, help expand the game I love and help Paizo out a little bit. Even if it's not all that much, I'm just happy to help people. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.